Hey, pop culture explorers, ever notice how summer blockbusters are basically comfort food for the soul, but with a spicy new sauce? That's exactly what's happening in summer 2025, where your screen is a time machine and a confession booth. We're seeing a wild mashup of nostalgia and reinvention. Think legacy IP intellectual property. That's Hollywood lingo for stuff you already love getting therapy and a makeover. If you're wondering, is it just me? Or are movies getting weirder yet more familiar? You're not alone. Studios are banking on your childhood memories, but with extra accountability, like a rebooted Tamagotchi that apologizes for eating your data. So let's dive in and see why pop culture is stuck in a time warp, but this time it's been to therapy, gotten a haircut, and is trying really hard not to offend your grandma. Strap in, because the summer of 2025 isn't just entertaining, it's self-aware, self-correcting, and just a little bit freaky. Let's start with a family classic that's back from the early 2000s with Receipts. Alright, let's talk Freakier Friday. Yes, Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis together again 22 years after their iconic body swap shenanigans. It's like Freaky Friday, but with more wrinkles and less MySpace drama. Here's the setup. The body swap trope is back, and it's still the perfect metaphor for intergenerational empathy. It's like empathy, but with actual mileage. Baby boomers meet millennials, and nobody understands TikTok. But here's the twist. This isn't just nostalgia bait. Lindsay Lohan's return is basically Hollywood's version of a redemption arc. She's not just back. She's proof that even tabloid punchlines can get a sequel. Talk about character development. Now, you might be thinking, isn't this just a rerun? Not quite. Director Nisha Ganatra made sure the film tackles old mistakes, especially those dicey Asian stereotypes from 2003. Hollywood's got a new buzzword, corrective representation. It's like a patch update for problematic scripts. Millennial nostalgia, cross-generational healing, and women leading the charge. This is Disney's way of saying, we're sorry, also, please buy more merch. Let's zoom out. Why are so many studios obsessed with their own history? It's like they found a box of old toys and decided, let's sell these to grown-ups with credit cards. The technical term here is legacy brand accountability. It basically means Disney and friends are finally cleaning out the attic, dusting off the skeletons, and giving them Instagram accounts. But there's a reason this works. Nostalgia is a dopamine hit. It's like a neural shortcut your brain says, oh, I remember that, I trust it. Even when you know you're being emotionally manipulated, you're still singing along to the theme song. Now, cynics will say, isn't this just IP fatigue? Sure, but when studios actually update the formula, correct the cringy bits, add fresh faces, it's like grandma's lasagna, but now it's gluten-free and Instagrammable. So, next time you see a reboot, ask yourself, is this a cash grab, or is Hollywood finally learning to say sorry? Sometimes it's a little of both, and that's called growth, or at least good PR. Cue the John Williams theme, because dinosaurs are back. Jurassic World, Rebirth stomps into theaters with Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey, and yes, the T-Rex still has a better agent than I do. Here's the setup. Dinosaurs aren't just extinct, they're a metaphor for the lost wonder of cinema itself. Remember practical effects? That's right, before CGI turned every blockbuster into a PlayStation cutscene. The conflict? Hollywood's got technological fatigue. Too much CGI, not enough magic. Gareth Edwards, the director, is basically waving a flag saying, "Let's get back to Spielbergian awe, people." That's auteur homage paying tribute to the masters while nervously hoping the audience notices. Now you might be thinking, aren't we tired of reboots? Yes, and so is the movie. Rebirth is Merit critiques its own franchise's excess, poking fun at Hollywood's addiction to sequels like a T-Rex in therapy. Resolution? Rebirth isn't just more dino chaos, it's an apology letter to movie magic, a reminder that sometimes less is more. Unless you're talking about popcorn, that's always more. Let's dig a little deeper. What's with our obsession with extinction stories? Dinosaurs aren't just movie monsters. They're a warning. It's like Hollywood saying, "Hey, remember that time we played God?" Oops. The franchise has always flirted with human hubrisor tendency to overreach, to commodify life itself. If you've ever tried assembling IKEA furniture without instructions, you know the feeling. Technobabble time. The film critiques the commodification of life and ecological collapse. In plain English, it's a giant lizard-sized metaphor for climate change and corporate greed. Now, you might be saying, isn't this just popcorn fun? Sure, but these movies sneak in big ideas behind the dino chomps. It's like hiding broccoli in your mac and cheese, delicious and slightly guilt-inducing. So the next time you see a velociraptor, remember, it's not just hunting humans, it's hunting your conscience, and probably your leftover nachos. Switching gear slits into the kitchen of the bear. FX's culinary drama that's back for a fourth helping. If you thought your family dinners were stressful, you haven't met the Berzados. This season, the knife-edge chaos versus control is sharper than a sushi chef's Yanagiba. Carmi's perfectionism is up against his desperate need for peace-think Gordon Ramsay with a therapist on speed dial. Mental health realism is the technical term here showing anxiety, grief, and trauma without turning Carmi into a walking cliché. It's like therapy, but the copay is a panic attack. If you're thinking, isn't this just another kitchen meltdown? Not so fast. Season 4's wine subplot and restaurant authenticity are giving foodies a reason to tweet. It's culinary authenticity at its finest, with a side of emotional breakdown. Resolution? The bear keeps serving up chaos, but now there's a little more hope on the menu, past the tissues and the risotto. Let's peel back another layer. What makes the bear really stick? It's the chosen family trope messy, loud, and somehow more functional than your group chat. The standout episode, Bears, reframes dysfunction as resilience. It's like a family reunion where nobody leaves in handcuffs progress. Narrative decentralization. There's your technical term, means the story isn't just Carmi's therapy session. Sydney gets her own arc, and the Worms episode highlights black female agency with all the nuance of a perfect souffle. You might ask, isn't this just kitchen drama? Nope, it's prestige TV evolution. The bear's moving from chaos to catharsis, serving up comfort food for the emotionally hungry. So next time your family gets weird at dinner, just say you're embracing narrative decentralization. It sounds fancy, and nobody will argue with you. Now let's head to NYC, where Carrie Bradshaw is back older, wiser, and still writing about shoes. Season 3 of And Just Like That is basically Sex in the City with more candles and fewer hangovers. The setup. Carrie's writing a new novel and redecorating her apartment. It's midlife reinvention, but with better lighting and a killer view of the skyline. Here's the conflict. Aging isn't pretty, and the show's not pretending it is. Messy maturity is the theme. Forget flawless this season's all about embracing imperfection, even if your Botox says otherwise. Cultural continuity and narrative ownership are the technical buzzwords here. Carrie moves from columnist to novelist, taking control of her story. It's like switching from tweets to epic poetry. Resolution? The show's not just about brunch anymore. It's about surviving change, loving your wrinkles, and maybe, just maybe, buying a sensible pair of shoes. Here's a question. Why is it so rare to see women over 50 actually living their best lives on screen? And just like that, isn't just about fashions, about flipping the script on aging and visibility. Representation of aging is the technical term, and it's overdue. These women are juggling careers, grief, and sexuality sometimes, all before their first cup of coffee. The show's 80s-inspired wardrobe is more than eye candy. It's fashion as identity, a love letter to the city, and a wink to fans who remember Carrie's tutu days. Now, you might ask, isn't this just nostalgia for millennials? Maybe. But it's also a cultural reset showing that reinvention doesn't expire with your Metro cards. So, whether you're a Carrie, a Miranda, or just someone who likes a good hat, remember, style never retires, and neither does drama. Let's bring it home. What ties all these 2025 pop culture giants together? It's the struggle between legacy and evolution, kind of like arguing with your old iPhone about updating its software. Each show and film is wrestling with its own baggage, from awkward stereotypes to missing cast members. That's called narrative ownership, controlling your story, even when it gets messy. Technical buzz, cultural continuity. These franchises want to stay relevant, but they're also haunted by their own past, like a ghost in designer's shoes. Now you might be thinking, is it possible to honor the old while embracing the new? The answer, as always, is, with enough rewrites, anything's possible. So, next time you binge watch a reboot, ask yourself, are you here for the nostalgia or the progress? Or, if you're like me, are you just here for the snacks?